warm welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different. So I was lucky enough to go to the Chelsea Flower Show this week for the first time, and I didn't manage to get a lot of video just because it was really busy, but I did take some really lovely photos. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit here with my cup of tea and chat to you and talk you through my top 5 highlights. There was so much to see, it was so amazing. If you ever get the chance to go, I really highly recommend it. But yeah, so I'm just going to pick my top 5. So first things first was the gold medal winning design of from Flowers from the Farm. So Flowers from the Farm is a cooperative of flower growers that basically all the flowers are grown in the UK. So apparently in the UK still florists import 90% of our cut flowers, which is crazy. You know, we love growing in our gardens flowers and it's so easy, so it seems mad that we then pay to, you know, have things shipped in from abroad. So anyway, so they're a cooperative of flower growers, and all the flowers are grown locally and then sold within the community, within their respective communities. So they're based all over the UK, and they're either sold at sort of farm shop locations or farmers markets. A lot of them do wedding floristry as well. So they have, obviously they're using British flowers, so they tend to be quite like a natural style, nothing too structured. But you get some absolutely amazing quality fresh flowers, because they could literally be cut like the night before and then at your wedding the very next day, or you know, on a table display, or you can go and buy them sometimes from the farm gate as well. So it's really a lovely idea, and they're really supportive of each other. They're a supportive community, and especially if you want to get into growing your own flowers, I would really recommend checking out their website. Like I said, they're based all over the UK, so it doesn't matter where you're located, and you could go to your local meeting. I will link their website below. But yeah, so their display was absolutely fantastic. It was really, really different, and it created a real buzz. It actually won a gold medal, so amazingly well done to them. But it was all created without any floral foam at all, because that is actually very bad for the environment. So they wanted to try and make it without that. And I think you'll agree, they did a really fantastic job. It was really atmospheric. The colours were just beautiful and so stunning. You know, it was in a big tent with loads of amazing flowers, and it still was drawing so much attention, and my mum was absolutely like blown away. She just said it was just stunning. And for me, it was just a really evocative picture. You know, you looked at it and it just really took you back in time, and yeah, I just found it absolutely fascinating. So have a check out on their website, and you can follow them on Instagram as well. The Queen came round and chatted to them, and Mary Berry. So they created a real buzz. So amazingly well done for those ladies. And like I said, check out their website, because they've got some really good meetups, and you can go along and get loads of inspiration from them. So highlight number 2 was another floral display, and this one was surrounded, the main theme of it was peacocks. I think, I don't know for sure because I didn't read into it enough, should have more, but I think it was designed around the seasons. So you had a sort of almost silvery pink peacock that was, I think, designed to be winter. And then something a little bit more, a little bit brighter for your spring, and you had lovely pussy willow wings on that peacock as well. And then round to summer was beautiful bright pink orchids. And then last but not least was the autumn with real lovely autumnal red, rich red colours. So for me, this drew my attention because peacocks have a really special place in my heart, because the venue where me and Dave got married has peacocks that live there, and they drew a lot of attention to themselves on the wedding day, not only by shouting out, but also because one of them took a bit of a shine to my father-in-law's classic car that he'd lent us as a bit of a wedding car. and was either trying to attack it or kiss it, I'm not really sure. But yeah, so that was quite funny. And then also as a wedding gift, I actually asked an artist, she's based in Scotland, her name's Tamsin Thompson. She's brilliant. She, as a wedding present for Dave, she did this painting for me. So this is a peacock here with his big tail and a peahen. We've got it in our house, but these were actually our wedding favours, so the little coasters. And I love it now. I go around people's houses and they've got them out and they use them. So yeah, so peacocks are really special to me. So I think that's why that one drew my attention. So my third highlight was actually the David Harbour and Savile's Garden. Not a very catchy title, but the reason I really enjoyed this is actually the first thing that attracted me to it was this plant here that I had been looking for and trying to identify for a friend, my lovely friend Louisa. And I saw it from afar, from across the way, and I thought, that's what that plant is. So I ran over and I asked him what it was, and he gave me one of these. So obviously I know now it's called Euphorbia lathyris. Grabbed hold of this guy who just happened to be stood there and said, you know, what's this plant called? And he told me, and then we got chatting, and it turned out he was actually the designer, so Nick Howard, I think quite famous, and I think done quite a few designs at Chelsea in the past, but he was really, really chatty, and he chatted away with my mum and I, and he explained all about the garden, and my mum actually had watched his garden on, I think, BBC a couple of days previously, and she said to him, you know, how did you get on in the judging? Because he was really hotly tipped for a gold medal. Sadly, he only got bronze, but we really, really enjoyed it. There was a lot of purple featuring in a lot of the gardens this year, and this one in particular had the beautiful purple lupins that were just absolutely fantastic. But the kind of idea of it was to show how the structure in the garden can then marry with the planting. So it says here, this is a garden theatre, a garden designed to showcase how sculpture and planting can tell a narrative and promote reflection. So it just really drew me. So initially because of this plant, but then once I started to look at it, I just realised absolutely how stunning it was, and it really drew your eye down through the middle of the garden. The BBC seemed to really love it as well, because they were like constantly filming. I was stood here trying to get a photo for ages, and they were like, this lady with her headset on was wandering around in the middle. I was like, get out the way, I want to get a picture. So I did manage to get a picture, which, I think showcases a little bit of the beauty of it. So that was probably my favourite garden. And then that takes me on really nicely to my next highlight, which was all the amazing structures that were on display there. So a lot of them you could actually buy. So I think everyone kind of thinks, Chelsea Flower Show, flowers. And yes, the flowers are stunning, but most of the show gardens incorporate quite a lot of sculpture as well. So I think over time that's probably evolved, and there's then a lot of artists that come and have stands to display their art. So you had everything from these amazing wooden horses made out of, it almost looked like driftwood. I think the starting price for them was like 35 grand. Scary. But they were absolutely amazing. So, you know, if you've got a spare 35k sitting around, go for it, because they were beautiful. I sadly don't. And then, you know, there was the next thing that I saw was this amazing treehouse. I mean, oh my God. I didn't even ask the price. It had this like fantastic turret on the side, and then it had a slide coming down. I did take a few photos in the hope that Dave might, you know, attempt to make one for Baby Platt in the not too distant future, but maybe beyond the realms of his skills, who knows. A woman can always try. My parents were also really excited to see an artist there called Tom Raffield. He is the guy, I don't know if you saw Grand Designs, I think it was back in October 2016. And he does all the wood bending. So they've got a couple of lights in their house that were made by him. And I was sort of wandering along, and I'd got a bit hot and uncomfortable. I said to my mum, oh God, I'm desperate to sit down. And I saw this really beautifully curved moulded wooden bench and in amongst all these beautiful flowers, and I thought, oh, I'll have a little sit down on that. So I had a little sit down and my mum wandered in, and it turned out it was his stand, so Tom Raffield's stand. So yeah, he's a really fantastic artist and he's got some really beautiful pieces, very different and individual, so I will link him below as well because his website's definitely worth checking out. And if you do get the chance to watch that grand designs of his actual house, it's fascinating. Dave and I absolutely adored it. And then the last thing that were probably a little bit more accessible and affordable were quite flower inspired actually, but a lot of quite a few people were buying these copper poppies. So they were copper coloured and they were obviously designed to look like poppies. And then my mum actually, much to my dad's disgust, because he then had to carry it home, bought some poppy seed heads, 3 of them, like they were all lovely and rusted. And they've just had an amazing border planted outside the front of their house, and they're going to stick these poppies interspersed amongst them. So I think that they're going to look really, really stunning. So they were beautiful. But the sculptures actually was something I wasn't expecting to see, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it's made me, I've got a couple of bits in my garden, but it's made me think about what else I could introduce. Especially to add a bit of interest in the winter when everything's sort of died back and there's not much going on. If you've got obviously something metal in the garden that's within the border, that will still draw a little bit of attention. And the last highlight for me was spending the day with loved ones actually. So I went with my mum and my dad and my auntie Ali, who I don't get to see that often, but she loves her garden as well. So we just absolutely loved seeing everything and chatting about what we're going to do in our gardens this year and in future years. So that was really brilliant. We actually went on Members Day, so that basically just means there's slightly less crowds. So you can see a bit more, you don't really have to get your elbows out and push to the front. So I really recommend becoming an RHS member. So I was the one that was a member. I think it's about 60 quid for an individual membership if you just pay one off, but I've actually done a direct debit, so I think mine's 45 every year. So it gets you free entry as a member to all the RHS gardens, so if you've got one of those local, that's brilliant. And I think they send you a voucher for a free tea or coffee as well, so coffee and cake, you can't really argue with that. And then obviously it gets you into members days, and also the tickets are cheaper. So I mean, Chelsea is quite expensive for a day. I think each ticket was £63, so that is quite pricey for a day out. But what we tend to do in our family is we will buy those sorts of days out as gifts for Christmas and birthdays, rather than just buying more stuff that none of us need. And yeah, so I really recommend, if you love flowers and gardening and you want to go and get inspired, then I really recommend becoming a member. And there are a couple of other of the RHS flower shows coming up this year. They're not quite on the same scale as Chelsea, but I've never actually been to any of them, so they're my plans for next year. But I have on good authority from one of my mum's friends, Lou, that the Hampton Court one is brilliant, and another friend, Chloe Haywood, is going to Chatsworth. So yeah, they're meant to be really fantastic as well, and they are a bit more affordable. I think they're about £25 a ticket if you'll remember. So have a little look on the RHS website, think about maybe getting a bit membership for a birthday, asking for it from somebody, and maybe having a bit of a family day out. It's always nice if there's, you've got some friends that like gardening as well. I think you can buy up to 4 tickets, so you could all sort of split the membership and then club together and go. I was gutted yesterday. I did treat myself to an ice cream, which was brilliant, but I was gutted because there was loads of like champagne bars, and I was like, oh, if I wasn't pregnant, I'd definitely be indulging in a little glass of champers. So yeah, if I ever go back, I'll definitely be, planning not to be pregnant so I can get involved in that. And yeah, just spending some good quality time together, having a laugh and doing something a bit different, So yeah, if you like spending time with your family, then go with them. Or like I said, if you've got some good friends that are also into gardening, then why not make a bit of a day of it and go all together, because it was really, really brilliant. I can't recommend it enough. So I hope you've enjoyed my highlights of the RHS Chelsea Flower Show. video. I am going to be doing a few more trips to various places coming in the coming sort of year or so. So I will try and do a bit more video of those if I can. If not, there'll be lots of nice pickies and something similar to this one again. But if you've enjoyed it and you've got inspired to go and do a bit of gardening or get involved in a bit of sculpture, who knows, then I'd love for you to give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to see a bit more of these types of things, I also do videos on how to plant and grow plants, and I'm also going to be doing some videos on floral arranging as well, so growing flowers in the garden and then arranging them for your home. Flowers don't have to be expensive. I know people always think that they are really expensive, but you know, a packet of seeds can cost you a couple of quid, and then you get some beautiful flowers from it that look amazing in the house. And everyone, or you know, a house always brightens up when you've got a bunch of flowers on the side. You don't have to have fancy vases. Sometimes I just chuck my flowers in a pint glass, or you know, just a tumbler, and they look just as good. So yeah, so if you want to subscribe to the channel and see a little bit more of those, then you can just click below. There's a red subscribe button, so if you just click below there. Like I said, I'm going to link everything that I've discussed in the video today down below, so you can go onto those websites and have a little look for yourselves. And I look forward to welcoming you back soon. Thanks, bye.